everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Hoppy Hour with Bob and Jimmy. I'm Bob.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we're here today to start you on a journey learning about craft beer in the Wilmington, North Carolina area. Jim, there are a lot of craft breweries out there.
There are a number. I think it's up to about 23 now, and it's growing. Every day I hear about a new brewery is starting someplace. So.
Well, you combine that with all the breweries that are available across the state.
Oh, yeah.
And the choices of different beers are astronomical.
It's heaven.
Yeah. Okay, heaven. But that's why we're here today, right?
That's really, absolutely why we're here today. We want to help you navigate through some of the beer styles and the flavors and give you our best analysis of it. And we're not going to tell you what to drink, but tell you what we like.
That's right. And we're not going to, the show format is not designed to tell you what we think you should be drinking. It's designed to give you information on the different beers that are available out there, the different styles, and help you to make better decisions on what beers you may want to try.
Like a road map.
Like a road map. You're right, exactly. But before we get into drawing this map, what actually makes us qualified to do this?
Well, I don't know that we are, but what we think makes us qualified is we were both home brewers, and I was up in Northern Virginia at the time, and I drank a lot of beer. And my wife told me one time that you need to get a hobby. So I went out and bought a beer kit. And I started making my own, and I continued to drink, much to her delight. But you know, I formed a relationship with three other guys in the neighborhood, and we formed a little brew club called Evening Shade Brewery.
Nice.
And we did a lot of brews, and we entered a lot into contests.
Yes, you guys have won a lot of awards for the
Yes.
beers that you made.
Yes, we did. We won quite a few.
And not just locally, these are
Regional or a few nationals as well.
And you're always either in the top 5 or.
And we were in the top 5, or quite often we've got #1 place. So.
Very good, very good. Well, my story's kind of the same. I started out in 2010 when I was living in Connecticut, and there was really no good beers around. So I went out and I bought my first kit. Okay, and
that's the way everybody starts.
By the way everybody starts. And they, you know, but then I started looking into and getting more familiar with the chemistry of brewing and what was involved, and I started making up my own recipes. And I didn't enter into a lot of contests. This was just my wife and I. We had a beer club between the two of us, and some neighbors would once in a while come over, or some relatives would be there to help out. Mostly they came by to drink it though. But we would, we had a Hoppy Hour brewing. And what we did was take a lot of the beer to parties, weddings, whatever we were going to, and we had we would take a keg or more, and they would we determined how good the beer was by how fast that keg disappeared.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's you know, like I said, that's kind of the start that we got into it. But then we got down here. I retired and moved down. You retired and moved back because you're a native.
I'm a native, Wilmington.
Yes.
Yes.
So born and raised here in Wilmington, and we just vacation here. Decided this would be a great place to retire to. So when we got down, we had talked because we had met when you were in Northern Virginia.
Right.
One of your neighbors was actually a cousin of mine, and that's how we met. But when we got down here, we talked about maybe brewing beer ourselves. But then we determined that there are way too many good breweries down here.
Good breweries here, so why should we make it when we can get it?
That's right. We get it and drink it without all the effort. So that's kind of what our credit is and what the show format's going to be, especially today. We have we're going to focus on one style of beer, and look at different examples from different breweries in the area of that style, and give you information on what we taste, what we what we experienced through drinking it, and again, let you decide which beers you maybe want to try the next time you're out at one of these breweries. And but today, in our first episode, we have American IPAs.
An American IPA is a sub-style of the India Pale Ale. It's typically brewed with hopped with Cascade, Centennial, or Amarillo, and has the malts, something like caramel, Munich, and Vienna. And it ranges from like 5.5 to 7.5 in the ABV, and from 50 to 70 IBUs, which is the International Bitterness Unit, is how they test bitterness.
Okay, so it's kind of a potent beer. It can be.
Yeah, it can be very potent.
It's definitely strong. It's not anything like a double IPA or an Imperial IPA where it's up closer to 9 and 10%, but it's still as high as 7.5%. That's pretty good. The flavors that come out of the beer, that's usually from the hops, right?
Right. There's a piney, fruity sort of flavors that define the beer. It's distinct taste in the American IPA.
Okay, so the four basically all beers have four major ingredients in it. And that's water, the hops, the malt, and the yeast. And that's where, by mixing those up, that's how they get the different flavors. Mm-hmm. When your malt is the main ingredient, but in an IPA, it's not the star of the show.
No, that's usually the hops.
Okay.
They give it that distinctive flavor.
Good. Well, then, if we're talking about these, as I said, we have 5 different examples here for you from 5 different breweries, and we're going to taste each one of them right now. We're going to start with the one on the right, our right, your left, okay, which is High Pitch from the High Wire Brewing Company. And this is, they call this a Western North Carolina IPA, but it's still an American IPA. For all intents and purposes, it's got a bright citrus, tropical fruit flavor to it. And it's 6.7% ABV. It has 55 IBUs, and it gets a pretty good rating on Untapped at 3.75. So let's try this one first. It's probably the darker of the 5 beers that we have. Has a good body, and very smooth.
Very smooth, and it's got the fruitiness about it.
Yes, it does.
Tangerine and
Smooth, and yeah, I'd say tangerine is in there.
some melon.
Maybe a bit of grapefruit flavor. And you can smell those flavors as well on the nose. But a very, very smooth IPA.
Little or no aftertaste.
Yes, little or no
And
aftertaste.
it's not very bitter. What is the bitterness on this?
Bitterness is 55, so that's the low end of the
That's
scale.
the low end, yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to our next one. This is a Serbic Ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
Yes, this comes from...
Nice name.
Nice name. Comes from the Broomtail Craft Brewery. Okay. And they have a really nice tasting room. If you haven't been there, you should try or go out and check it out. It's unique, I'm going to say. I don't get a lot on the nose with this one.
Nope.
I do smell the malt more than I do the hops.
Very smooth though. That's
Yeah, it's a smooth mouth feel. Not a lot of body to it.
There's no aftertaste.
There's no aftertaste, but there's, like I said, very, very little bitterness in this one as well. This is only 57 IBUs, and the alcohol is only 6.2 on this.
Yeah.
So, but Untapped still rates it at 3.79. It's a, I'm going to say it's got, you're getting a lot of citrus and melon in there, and more melon than anything else.
I could drink that beer.
You could drink that beer, very, very drinkable beer.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is from the New Anthem Beer Project. They have a couple of locations in town, one downtown, one on Greenville Road. So, and
Greenfield Road.
Greenfield Road, sorry. And this is hopped with select Citrus, Centennial, Simcoe, Amarillo, and Bix. Vic? Okay.
Victory.
Victory. The name of this beer is Fade. It's their American IPA. I get a pine aroma out of it, and it has an excellent body. Good head retention.
Got some bitterness,
Oh yeah.
but we don't know the
Yes.
IBU.
We don't know the IBUs because they haven't published it, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. But I have to say that's low 70s.
Probably.
Because it's a lot more bitter than what the first two beers are. But
A little bit of aftertaste, but it doesn't linger very long.
no, it doesn't. It aftertastes true to the finish and then disappears quickly.
I could drink that beer also.
You could drink that one too? Well, you did, so. Let's move on to our next beer. This beer is Abundant Sunshine, something that we have here in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's from the Waterman Brewery Company, and this is their flagship IPA.
I didn't know that.
Now, you may have noticed the color of this beer.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
did.
lot lighter.
It's almost the same color as a can.
Yes, it is. But it's a lot lighter than the other beers that we have. It's more of a light straw color. And it's 6.8%, so medium alcohol, and 68 IBUs.
Got a little bit more bitterness than
The first two?
First two, yeah.
This has got an untapped rating of 3.81. It's got a decent body.
Very
And-
drinkable.
Yeah, very, I'm going to say there's a lot of tropical fruit in it, as well as resin.
Well balanced, too.
Well, yeah, it is. The hops that they use are Simcoe and Mosaic. That's what gives it the pininess that I taste, that resin. Okay, and then Citrus, Simcoe, Cascade, and Centennial give it that citrus flavor, or the fruit flavors that I'm picking up. But very nice.
Yeah.
Analyzes the senses very well, both smell and taste. Very smooth beer.
Drink that.
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, we have Tropical Lightning from Wilmington Brewery.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of this one.
It's hard not to hear this one. This is a flagship West Coast IPA from Wilmington Brewery.
Probably the most popular beer in town.
I would say so. If you go into a bar or restaurant, you are more than likely going to find this beer on tap in that restaurant in the Wilmington area.
Quite often, it's their best-selling beer, too.
Quite often, and it's very a complicated beer. Has Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe, and Warrior hops that it used during the boil, and
And then dry hop the Amarillo.
they dry hop with Amarillo afterwards. Right, dry hopping is something that's done after the boil to bring out more aroma and more flavor in the beer. The ale or the yeast that it uses is California ale, and the malts are Belgian Pils, Carapils, and white wheat. So they have a blend of different malts in it. So this has an IBU rating of 75, and it is quite a bitter beer. It's the bitterest beer of all of these that we have here. It also has an ABV rating of 7.4%.
Yeah, you can taste the bitterness.
Yeah, and as you said, you can find it everywhere. And because you can find it everywhere, it has a very popular rating on Untapped of 4.25. So it's the highest rated beer out there right now that we have of the 5. Excellent aroma.
That is a drinkable beer.
Again, that bitterness comes through to the finish.
But it doesn't last. I mean, it's kind of fades.
No, it doesn't. And the malt blends very nice with the pine and the resin. Exceptional IPA.
We could both drink that beer.
And we will.
Yep.
So, 5 excellent examples of American IPA from Wilmington, North Carolina breweries. Something that you may want to try the next time you're out. If you like a smoother, less bitter, the first 3 that we have in the high pitch and the acerbic ecstasy might be a choice that you would try. If you like a more bitter beer, I would say the Fade and the Wilmington Brewery, and a nice blend between the two, nice balance between the two would be that Abundant Sunshine from Waterman. So again, information that you can use hopefully to make a better decision of which beers you may want to try the next time you're out at a Wilmington brewery. And we hope we've been informative. We hope we've entertained somewhat. And we hope that you'll join us again next time here on Hoppy Hour with Bob and Jim. So long.